Welcome to the Plugged In podcast. And today we have Michael Brown. Michael is the CEO and chairman of Skyline Robotics. It's great to have you on today's show, Michael. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me, Mark. Looking forward to our conversation.
Me too. I always love these. And I always fascinated when people like yourself innovate, where you create a solution to a problem. And even if I can't always add the same enthusiasm or maybe knowledge to some of the great ideas and innovations, I love just the courage and the balls to be able to create something.
Yes, balls, courage, being able to just, ride the waves of passion and disappointment all in the same time.
Exactly. I mean, Michael, I'd love to know what inspired this idea of using AI and robotics for something specific as high-rise window cleaning. How did that all kind of come about?
Yeah, sure. So my background was really in distribution and services, selling office supplies. We were like no retail, but business to business for customers. And after selling to Staples as for the second time in the industry, I signed a 7-year non-compete. And everything that I like to do is try to take a different approach to another problem. So I was looking into automation for the assisted living, which is very large in Japan. And then I was driving my son down to hockey practice one day in New York. I looked up at the skyscrapers and I'm like, I can't believe humans still clean windows by hand. It's got to be the most dangerous thing. So I went looking all over the world for technology that I thought could work. I found and honed in on Skyline Robotics because of what they had prototyped. And I was able to convince their board to allow me to come in, bring a new team, and take it to the next level. And now we're here today.
You touched on the danger part of obviously cleaning windows. How does Skyline technology really help create that safety in the job for work as well? Usually, you know, how does it create a solution to that?
So the skyscrapers are clean traditionally in New York, which is the most regulated market in the world for work at heights. There are union labor within the baskets that come down the side of the buildings. They're cleaning they're usually one or two people within there. They're cleaning the building. And then there's a person on the roof where there's a crane that lowers us down. So what we do is we move the people out of the basket, put in our robots, and then there's just one person on the rooftop, and the people that were in the basket are taken out of risk and they get trained to be able to become a robotic operator that would be on the top. So we're not getting rid of labor. We're augmenting the labor, training. It's a union job and they're earning more money. So when you look at window cleaning of skyscrapers, 76% of all the window cleaners are over the age of 40. So when you think of in the last 10 years with the explosion of very tall office buildings and residential buildings, you have a more of a demand. In New York, where there were 1,500 union jobs cleaning skyscrapers 10 years ago, today there's only 500. So you really have an inflection point of you're not going to have the labor to even get it done. So we're coming in from a safety standpoint. We're coming in from a being able to have a collaborative solution rather than what I would say is the takeout solution, which a lot of people are concerned about. So yeah, the artificial intelligence and everything else came with the prototype of what we were looking at. And then luckily enough, being that I don't know much about robots, or I didn't know much about robots or artificial intelligence at the time, I always like to surround myself with smarter people And that's where I brought Ross Blum, who's basically who runs the day to day and puts it all together. And it's just been great.
Can you explain how the Osmo actually works in a way that everyone can understand? Because I know that's a big part
Sure.
of the technology. Yeah.
Sure. So think of an autonomous car. We utilize LiDAR same way, and we're scanning the building. And then the algorithms and the artificial intelligence behind it is saying what is the best path for these robotic arms to move back and forth. Very much it looks like a window wiper, for car wipers. But at 500 feet, there is wind, there is water pressure. There are many different things that happen at many different heights, communications. What we're doing is we're scanning the building all autonomously. The operator is really just monitoring a computer to make sure that, something happens. They can, pause the operation and restart it, but there's no like joystick where people are sitting here. And there are two robots that we use. So they're both able to scan and clean at the same time, sharing power, water, and communications in a multivariable environment. So that technology is very unusual in the robotics world because most robots are used in a controlled environment and are given a certain amount of tasks to perform and so forth. Ours is put into a multivariable environment where things change very quickly. We're recalculating its path 250 times every second. And it's very cool technology. And we've gone more into what I would call the deployed physical AI, industrial company that can really, I think, make a big difference from not just safety, but being able to give data from the outside of the building rather than what happens on the inside of the building where they have IoT solutions all over the place. No one's got anything from the outside. And drones, which people have started to use for scanning of the building or even cleaning some buildings, drones can only go so high because the weight of water, is an issue. I don't know how people clean buildings with a drone and are conscious of being green because the thing is literally spraying water like a hose. So, and that won't work in a city where there are people walking underneath with a hose going at it. So we really believe that we're in a subset of the real estate market where we're only focused on the tallest buildings that have these cranes on top of them, there are about 68,000 of those globally, forgetting about new construction.
What would you say then is the biggest challenge robotics like Osmo face when they go inside these real buildings? It sounds very sophisticated, and you've already said that it does something that's different to
So
most.
I would say that most buildings, there's never one building that's the same exact as the other building, right? And the good news is that as we continue to do more and more cycles at different buildings, the algorithms get more and more stronger. Our vertical AI agent is really starting to take in a lot of that and build out these models. So there are buildings that are beautiful, but we're not able to clean 100% of it. Maybe we clean 95% of it. Maybe we clean 85% of it. But why we partner with local dealers in the marketplace so that the customer, meaning the building, is getting 100% clean, whether it be with robotics or with human or both. So we're trying to not say, hey, listen, especially in the built environment, we can 100% do everything. We're building our way there, and there's a negative slope that goes, like this, or there's some crazy architecture. we're not focused on that right now. We're focused on, okay, hey, listen, it doesn't have to be a perfectly square building and so forth. And we've different size scaffolds that are out there. We want to be able to really walk into that customer, provide them a service with our partner, provide them data to go from into a predictive maintenance standpoint of their building, because it's not just about the cleaning of the windows. We're building a digital twin, and
Mm.
we're then able to stitch on data to show where the windowsills are losing, are having erosion within their silicon seals. So now we're really providing information that can lower the carbon output of the building, because you're not going to have air and water filtration. Now, this isn't what we were thinking about when I had this idea, but it's land and expand.
Right.
And once we got in there, Ross and I, we changed the model about how they wanted to be a first party window cleaner. We want to be supportive to the window cleaning industry. And we know that we need to work with strategic partners that have an understanding of the industry, whether it be window cleaning, work at heights, safety, robotics. So we always surround ourselves with what I think are great strategic partners.
Mm. And I think I read that Osmo is 3 times faster than traditional window cleaning. What makes it so quick?
So on a human wakes up one day, feels okay, wakes up another day, doesn't feel okay. In the morning, they're at one speed. In the afternoon, they're at another speed. So there's not like this set situation. Ours is just, it's going back and forth. So there is no break. Okay. So we're cleaning a human, probably cleaning 2,500 square feet an hour. We're able to clean about 4,500 square feet an hour. So while the square feet, when you look at it, you're like, okay, so maybe it's close to being double. However, we're able to be consistent over an 8-hour period rather than, call it, when they're working 7 hours, 6 hours, 5 hours, because there's just, people get tired, people have to go to the bathroom and so forth. So we just get more efficiency. And if you look at 1133 Avenue, which is a Durst building, which was where we, really made huge strides. Cycle one, we cleaned the building in 19 days compared to humans that clean it in 22 days. Cycle two, after taking that data that we took from it from an operational standpoint, made some changes. Cycle two, we went from 19 days to 13 days. We are going to be mid-October allowed to clean at night, because we don't need sunlight to clean, and we're going to get it down to 4 days. So you're seeing, one, less humans on the side of the building. You're going to be able to really have a much quicker clean cycle for the building. The building is saving money in many different ways, just on the price of, and we expect insurance for them to go down. We expect the data that we're providing them back about certain windows that might have a crack right now, because right now we're giving optical data back. We're then building out this whole entire, what I would say, this digital twin infrastructure, to really be able to empower the building owners.
Yeah, it's very sophisticated. I know as well that Skyline really emphasizes that robotics like Osmo actually offer and give a meticulous ability to be able to sense, to be able to see, to touch, and even have a brain. How do all those faculties come together on a job?
So we have what's called a distributed robotic system. So one, you have the artificial intelligence that's called controlling the robotic arm. But you have to think about the water that we're utilizing that's coming from the top of the building, right? So it could be 1,000 feet in the air. So imagine if you were to jump off a boat and go down into the water, go a couple 100 feet, your ears would explode from the pressure. So water has the same thing when it's going down. We want to make sure that water doesn't explode through the line. So our artificial intelligence is also working with algorithms for how much water and air is coming through that line. Then when you think of the communications part, you have to have 100% communications all the time because, wirelessly, when you're in an environment like a city, we've got waves going all over the place. So you have to block out all of that noise and create a 100% direct communications to be able to pass over all this data and allow the artificial intelligence to do the calculations without there being a delay. So you've got many, many different systems. We have patented the robotic arm to performing window cleaning in many markets around the world. And the great news is that the world has regulations of facade access with these baskets and these cranes. And we have taken the approach to work within the ecosystem, work with the regulators, work with the industry to try to build the technology that is going to be at its best for both the humans and the customer.
It's incredible. What's next then for Skyline Robotics, Michael? What have you got up your sleeve?
So we did at the end of 2024, we entered into an agreement and really became full-time mid-2025, July mid-2025 with Alimac. Alimac is the largest facade access solutions provider in the world. They're in 120 countries, and we have joined forces to develop for new construction that when the basket and crane gets there, we've pre-installed the robots that are then going to be able to do 24/7 cleaning without any humans, that is going to be scanning the building and be able to provide some real data back. That to us, we had secured called 12 to 16 projects that we felt that we were really going to be able to get over the finish line. When we did our deal with Alimac, they just brought us 350 more. So here they are they control 65% of the globe in this specialized market. And what they have done over the last 25 years is they did roll-ups so that they have the density and the expertise for this type of technology. So we're very excited about the Alimac situation because if someone said to me when we got into this business, who's the biggest customer on the planet that you think you could get to change this business, it was Alimac. And that was 4 years of them testing the product, them meeting with us. They've got a huge business. We're like a pimple on their back. But now they see the opportunity that we see, and we're super excited. We're literally on the cusp, in my mind, of becoming the Kleenex to the automated cleaning of skyscrapers at heights. I don't want to clean every building. I just want to clean the skyscrapers that have these cranes on them where humans are put,
The best advert, Michael, is going to be Skyline cleaning some real specific buildings and then making the other ones look so bad because they haven't had the treatment and the attention.
Yeah. And listen, I think that when you think about like London, for instance, the US was very ESG conscious prior administrations. We have a new administration. They're not as conscious, but they're still the all of these different COP 28, COP 29, 2030, Vision 2030. So we're very focused on being able to provide a blueprint for the building to make sure that they're called as carbon neutral as possible by making sure the outside of the building is in the best shape from a structural standpoint.
It's so exciting, your technology, Michael. I've enjoyed having you on today's Plugged In podcast.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Michael.